I agree with what you're saying. I agree with what you're saying. Stop agreeing with yourself. Stop agreeing with yourself.
Hello and welcome to Glass Half Full Reviews, and good evening to you. Today I am going to be reviewing a new film called Calvary.
Do you not have anything to say to me, Father?
Not right now, no.
This film is an Irish film from Irish director John Michael McDonagh, and it stars a slew of Irish actors. The lead is Father James, played by Brendan Gleeson, known for such films as Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire, where he played Mad-Eye Moody, or Braveheart, where he played... I don't remember the name. I'll put it up. Where he actually played a Scottish person there, and, you know, whatever. It's not like Mel Gibson is Scottish either. So, you also have such luminaries as Chris O'Dowd and Aidan Gillen, and Kelly Reilly plays his daughter. And it's a very interesting sort of movie. Calvary is actually an English word that derives from Latin, which then itself derives from an Aramaic word, Golgotha, which supposedly was the place in which Jesus was crucified. And now, whether or not that's the correct word or not is a matter for debate, but Calvary has this particular thematic resonance, and it is particularly applicable in this movie. So Father James is an older gentleman, a very wise, smart, funny man, but he's filled with compassion. He had a bit of a tumultuous past, and that's how he has this daughter, but he gave it up, and now he's a man of the cloth. But during confession one Sunday, he gets a very, very disturbing confession from somebody. Someone who says that they were molested as a child by priests. Not anyone that Father James knows, but someone nonetheless. And he says, therefore, I'm going to kill you. And not because you had anything to do with it. The contrary, because you didn't have anything to do with it. Because it'll mean more if I kill someone who's a good man. You know, exactly. So now, he said, I'm going to kill you in a week. Kill you in a week. And basically, what is Father James going to do? Well, he decides, I'm just going to live my life. He takes the next few days to continue what he was doing, helping out people in the town with his problems. But it's not so simple, because this person who's targeting him, he is targeting. Things start to happen, things that are not so good. So Father James, he has to make a decision. What is he going to do? Is he going to approach the police? He has a pretty good idea, he thinks, who this person is. So what is he going to do? And this is sort of a dark comedy. It's very dark. Very, very dark. I mean, there were definitely moments of levity and laughter here, but it's such a black movie. I mean, it's the blackest comedy I think I've ever seen. And, wow. It's a very affecting movie for sure. It's something that may leave you feeling emotionally drained afterwards. But that's not to say it's a bad movie. It's actually an excellent movie, but it's not easy to watch. And it's so dark that I don't think I could recommend it to most people because of that. This is the kind of thing that I think would take a lot out of you if you tried to watch it. I think it's great, but it's hard to watch. Anyway, that's my little summary. Let's get into my 5-point breakdown.
5-point breakdown.
So, acting is pretty great here, but some of the supporting characters aren't necessarily amazing. But, man, Brendan Gleeson, standout performance of the year. He was brilliant here, just amazing. And I would say, if it wasn't for this performance, this movie wouldn't be anywhere close to as good as it is. And I was just blown away. He was so good. This is the kind of thing I think is going to get some awards attention by the end of the year. At least it better. I hope it does, because he is so good in this movie. Just unbelievable. I mean, he has this way of talking about things with a kind of warmth, but there's pain there that you can see. You can see that his wisdom is from years of trouble and problems. It just works so well. He is really great in this movie. Now, let's move on to number 2. And this film was, of course, filmed in a different place. It's filmed in Ireland. And so you get a little bit different because of colloquialisms and how things might be interpreted differently for different people. I didn't even know what Calvary meant when I first heard about this movie. I first thought it was like, wait, Calvary? Cavalry, right? The horse troops. Oh, no, wait, that's not it at all. I wasn't familiar with the term, but apparently it's just exceptionally common. I had heard from the director who said that basically he didn't even realize it was an uncommon word. He thought it would be really obvious in terms of its thematic resonance about this man on his journey towards possible death. Okay, well, that makes perfect sense. And in terms of that, I mean, the story, like I said, is a really dark story, but I would say that it works very well for what it is, but I wouldn't call it as great as what the film has added up to, if that makes sense. It's one of the pieces that isn't as strong as some of the other pieces, but connected, it works well. Let's move on to number 3. And one of the things that's great about shooting this on location is that you get to see some of these beautiful areas in Ireland, and it comes across in a way that's very not cosmopolitan. It's this low-key country town, and it's a very kind of homey feeling, but it's also a kind of disturbing feeling because it's like, wow, even in such a place, dark things can happen. And that's kind of, it's depressing, but it's also kind of evocative, I suppose. So I did like the way this movie looked. And that moves us on to number 4. And as I sort of was saying, I mean, you leave this movie and I think you feel like, wow, what a movie. But I don't think you're going to be particularly happy after you leave this movie, but it's certainly going to hit you, that's for sure. So, I mean, there is that. I guess in that sense it's a positive experience, but it's not a positive feeling experience, I suppose. Number 5. And that brings us up to the point. So what is the point? It's an indie film, so there's a chance to try something different, trying something interesting that you don't get to see with a lot of the mainstream blockbusters. These kinds of explorations of identity and faith, and what does it mean to have faith, and can you accept certain things, and can you accept trying to forgive other people? And I don't know. It doesn't give you an easy answer, that's for sure, but I think that when you add it all up, the amazing acting and the setting and what it's trying to do and sort of the very interesting thematic connections and points it's trying to make, I think this is a great movie. But it is not for everyone. I think if you can handle this kind of really, really dark comedy that is more drama than comedy, it's being billed as a black comedy, but I say more drama with comedic elements, I suppose, then I would say I would recommend it. But if that doesn't sound like your speed, I'd skip it. That's all. Thanks for stopping by.